Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of the smash hit My Sassy Girl, a South Korean romantic comedy from 2001. Now if we talk about genre films, excluding basic dramas, Korean cinema is usually associated with thrillers, and rightfully so, because that country comes out with a boatload of entertaining thriller movies. From Save the Green Planet from 2003 to The Chaser from 2008 to Cold Eyes from 2013. A lot of good thrillers there. But I think that Korean romantic comedies are just as impressive as their thrillers overall. So I plan on reviewing a bunch of rom-coms on this YouTube channel, actually. Now, if you're not a fan of this particular genre of film, I strongly recommend that you check out a few of the Korean titles that I'm going to cover over the next few weeks, because they may just change your mind. They certainly changed my mind, because I was not a fan of this genre 10 or more years ago. Now, the basic premise of My Sassy Girl is that a college student befriends a girl with some psychological problems. Basic premise here. She has no tact and frequently embarrasses him in public with her antics, which results in a series of funny scenarios, including the line crossing contest on a subway car and the high school uniform night. You'll know what I'm talking about after you watch the film, or if you have seen it already. Yes, this girl is a complete nut, but some of their daily activities are actually quite fun, and that helps prevent her character from becoming annoying or grating, because she is somehow charming and desirable at the same time. Now this is, in part, due to Ji-hyun Jun's excellent performance. She displays a plethora of different emotions, and she's totally convincing at every point in this movie. This movie really launched her into well-deserved superstardom, not just in South Korea, but all of Asia. This movie was popular outside of South Korea, in the Asian area of the world. Now, the lead actor here, Taehoon Cha, is nicely cast as the everyday college guy who has no ambitions whatsoever. These two actors really work well together. At its core, if you think about it, a romantic comedy needs good quality romance and good quality comedy, of course, but it's almost impossible to pull this off if the lovebirds have terrible chemistry. So the fact that the chemistry between Jun and Cha is one of My Sassy Girl's greatest strengths is a huge positive that cannot be overemphasized. Now, another big positive here is the script writing. I've seen this movie at least a dozen times, and every time I watch it, I appreciate its ambitiousness more and more. Because on the surface, it's a traditional romantic comedy. But when you think about it, it's truly an epic genre film that covers a lot of ground in terms of story and character development. I mean, this keeps moving, this film, and it adds layer upon layer of depth. And it does this in a number of ways. I mean, first, it paints an idealistic picture of love that stays with the viewer long after the credits roll. And that's important because the romance early on is a bit outlandish, the whole setup, but it gradually becomes more grounded and convincing. So you end up with like this idealized form of pure love that actually feels attainable in real life. And that makes it easy to connect with from the viewer's perspective. Secondly, the main characters mature and develop as things progress, which prevents things from getting monotonous or dull. So the scriptwriters could have taken the easy way out here and just had the female lead act nutty and superficial the entire time, but instead they create a three-dimensional character who is endearing. Now, this film has a very nice blend of comedy and romance, both of which are executed in convincing fashion. When it came out back in 2001, it did prove to be the most famous Asian romantic comedy, and I would say that it still probably is from that region. And there's been a lot of good South Korean romantic comedies that have come out over the past 15 plus years, but My Sassy Girl still is, it's still arguably the most popular and even most highly acclaimed from fans and critics alike. So this is a must-see. And it is widely available on DVD, so you're in luck. But you have to be careful with the DVD releases because there's this confusing DVD scenario again that we see sometimes where there's different versions floating out there. There are a few different versions and director's cuts. There's actually multiple director's cuts floating around. So I've only seen one version, so I cannot comment on the differences between them. But what I can say is that the version that I own is 137 minutes long, and that's the one that I recommend you try to find, even though it's more difficult to find than the one that's more widely available, which is like a little over 2 hours long. So, you know, if you have to settle for the one that's widely available, I guess you may as well do it. But with, how many minutes is that? 14 minutes that are missing from the American release. I'm not sure what they cut out there. You're definitely going to miss something, though. But, you know, if you have no other choice, watch the American release. But please avoid the American remake because it's terrible. Oh, I'm not even going to get into that. So I'll leave it at that. So My Sassy Girl comes highly recommended, and it's one of many South Korean romantic comedies that are very entertaining and impressive in their overall quality. This genre, I'm kind of sick of people throwing this romantic comedy genre under the bus all the time, because it seems like all they watch are like the mainstream American titles, and they just think the entire genre is worthless. And I'm like, hey, did you see these South Korean ones? They're like, no. I think you gotta watch some of these here. You really do. So that's my opinion on that. And as always, we'll see you next time.